Mr. Herman. Mr. Herman, you have a telephone call at the front desk.
I try to every week try to find something crazy like obscure, and just to even though we're trying to grow this channel, just make it even smaller. And I think I hit it. If you're a fan of Pee-wee's Big Adventure, I know you like that one.
Dude, I love it.
Naturally, I didn't even have to ask you if you loved it. I already knew. I think I vividly remember that you have the Pee Wee Herman tequila dance memorized as well.
Oh, of course.
Did
you know?
Go ahead.
We went to go see the Batman. We have like an old theater, like it plays old movies. So we went to go see 1989 Batman with Michael Keaton, and I forgot that Prince did the soundtrack for that movie, dude.
Oh, not me. Not me at all.
I was like, Tim, dude, this is a banger, bro.
I don't know if I'm a little delayed on my side. Let me double check my internet, make sure I can pause all my daughter's devices that don't need to be connected right now. But as always, it is the Highest State of Mind podcast. As always, I'm Chris. Just to my left is my good friend Josh. Josh, I've got some rapid fire questions for you, my friend. Rapid fire question, rapid fire response. First question: did you win or did you lose money this weekend betting?
Did you ask the question?
I don't know if it's my internet.
You just went rapid fire.
Did I?
And then nothing happened.
Rapid fire question. Rapid fire.
You think it's mine?
I don't know. Relax. We're both super delayed answering.
Okay.
Rapid fire. Did you win or did you lose money this weekend?
Lost money.
Well,
no, I don't know if that's true because I made it. Well, my Friday I went like 7-2, and Saturday I went like 4-6.
Okay. Okay. Rapid fire question number 2. Texas, Penn State both started 1-2 in the AP poll. They are no longer anywhere near there. My question for you is, are they at the end of the season closer to being back in the top 15 or closer to playing in the Bad Boy Mowers Gasparilla Bowl?
Penn State is closer. Penn State's going to get shit together. They're going to get their shit together. You know, we need to do a deep dive on the Penn State conversation. Once we get to the Penn State game, I want to do a victory lap for us a little bit for what we talked about. But Penn State's going to get their shit together. Texas, you and I briefly talked about Texas. Obviously, this is a Big Ten focused show, so we didn't dive into their schedule. But we talked about how we wouldn't be shocked if Texas won 8 games. So, we kind of talked about how I think we've gone the other way where you and I were always kind of like Arch is overhyped. We need to watch him play. Yada, yada, yada. We've seen this before with Ron Powless and, Keely Smith and Max Brown. That was another 5-star guy. Tate Martell. We need to see this play out a little bit. Now everybody fucking hates him. I think that's wrong too. He's still young. There's still time. But it might be Texas just might not be very good. Plus they lost 4-star offensive line. We knew that the offensive line were going to be a big hit. And, it was going to be a lot bigger of an impact than people thought. But I think Penn State's going to figure this shit out.
I would agree with you. Last rapid fire question. The Las Vegas Raiders defense and Mark Sanchez, what do they both have in common?
They're both gutted?
They both got carved up in downtown Indianapolis. All right, so moving on. I thought that was a good one. If we've got time, we'll talk Mark Sanchez. But first and foremost, first business on the docket here. Buckeyes, Golden Gophers. It was a 42-3 victory. I've got my notes. I've got it breaking down half by half. Josh, your big takeaways from the game.
Dude, they look good. Again, they haven't showed me any weaknesses. Minnesota is not a bad team. No. I don't even know. We talked on the show last week. Like someone asked, like, is Minnesota better than Washington? right? Because we were kind of puffing them up, and maybe especially after watching this past week, Minnesota is what they are. They're a tough team. PJ Fleck is an okay coach. They're pretty disciplined. They're going to go to a bowl game. They've gone to a bowl game pretty much every year since he's been there. And they dominated them. They dominated on offense. They dominated on defense. They dominated on special teams. It was domination. Carnell Tate played extremely well. Oh
yeah.
He's going to be. He's going to be the next Emeka Egbuka. Reminder. I did think Emeka Egbuka was going to be a bust. So that's a dunk on me. But, he's going to be the next wide receiver you draft in the first round. That wasn't even the best wide receiver on the team. Max Clare had another, great game. Julian Sand looked tight. Arvell Reese looked good again. We saw Zion Grady get some snaps, which was very cool. We saw Bo Jackson be the leading rusher. Yeah, we saw Bo Jackson be the leading rusher again. There's not much to bitch about, man. There's just not much to complain about. I thought the offensive line, Minnesota's a tough team, and the offensive line paved the way, and thought the defensive line looked great. It's hard to find things to nitpick and bitch about. It just really is. Yeah, man. I guess the defensive line didn't look as impressive against Minnesota as they did against Washington, and right. I think we thought they would because the quarterback was less mobile. But that's less of a bitch, and it's more of just an observation of the game, if that makes sense. Yeah. So
I can see that.
I do think it's interesting that CJ Hicks, and I think that's probably the big piece of news is that we basically there's two guys that basically have announced that they're transferring, right? Yes. CJ Hicks and Malik Hartford are taking a red shirt. That means they're transferring, guys.
Oh yeah,
right.
They're opening themselves up for a transfer. Absolutely.
I think so. I think that's pretty consensus. And I do think that's interesting that CJ Hicks was maybe one of the highest rated recruits at linebacker in Ohio State history, recent history at least.
Yeah.
And just a massive bust. He goes right up there with Mike D'Andrea. And, he just didn't do anything. It's just kind of interesting. We've had guys on the show, shout out to Stuart, talk about that. And they kept shoving him out there. So I guess that's probably the biggest piece of news, right? You got a question well, why do they keep shoving them? But whatever. Again, no, it's not even about the game. But Ohio State looked great, man. There's nothing a bit. In my opinion, this is the second week in a row where I think there's a huge gap between them and everybody else in the Big Ten. I just think that they look like the most complete team.
No, I would agree with you. Will chimes in, hey guys, what's up? He's disappointed about Hicks, but he's making the right decision. Hey, I mean, these kids, it's the time of sitting back and waiting your turn is almost all but gone. There's just some greats out there in college football that are still doing it. I'm not gonna say greats, but some phenomenal athletes. But at the same time, you only got so much. You only got so much eligibility, and this defense is complete. Hey, this defense is set. They know who they want out there and playing, and they know who they want out there and playing in what situations as well. Will chimes back in. Go to Eddie and Bowling Green. I love that cat. I love that cat from Bowling Green. Have you seen it?
Pudge.
That's it. I love that cat.
Yeah. Dude.
I got some notes from the game.
That'd be good. That's a good idea, bro. He could do really well there.
No, absolutely. I could see that. The Buckeyes last Saturday, they played Minnesota, which was the only time the Buckeyes will appear in the Horseshoe in the month of October, which is wild to me. Every game the rest of this month. Yes, every game the rest of this month will be on the road. Big things first, right off the top. Everyone's, Julian Sand's a young quarterback. We know he can sling the ball, but obviously we're trying to ease him into it, build his confidence, what have you. A lot of talk over the last probably week and a half, really. Julian Sand, is he a game manager? I mean, if he's a game manager, then he's a game manager that I want to have. But also, they definitely this week I think curtailed a lot of that talk. If I'm honest, if he's a game manager, he's playing game manager at an elite level. I mean, we've talked to arguably the greatest quarterback of all time was labeled a game manager as well with Tom Brady, but we're not going to get anywhere near that conversation. But I think we can put that to bed. I think they gave Julian the opportunity to, as you said on this podcast, sling the bitch a little bit better. So he did in fact get the opportunity to do that. We talked about it last week as well. Hey, everyone, once Ryan Day brought in Matt Patricia. Everyone's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? I mean, you saw what Jim Knowles did this past week. And that has nothing to do with Ohio State. But I mean, let's be real, guys. Right now, who would we rather have? We'd rather have that gimmicky defense that, that only works if everything's working well, because nothing was working right for Penn State this last weekend. Go ahead.
Yeah, let's talk about that for first of all. Let's go back to the Julius Sand thing. The game manager thing. That's not an insult. Okay. I think that there are quarterbacks that create plays where the offense or the team revolves around them. For instance, Diego Pavia at Vanderbilt. Okay, yeah, he's not a game manager, right? Because the offense lacks the talent for him to just manage the game. He's got to go out and do stuff, right? But Julian doesn't have to go out there and make plays. We want him to throw the ball, distribute the ball, and be a point guard. Right. So it's not an insult. Like you said, Tom Brady, one of the most unathletic dudes in the entire world, who, when he was at Michigan, they tried to replace him. He was so unspectacularly athletic. But he had a great NFL career. Why? Because he was intelligent. He played within himself. Nothing wrong with that. When you're a quarterback, you can do that. But yeah, let's move on to the Penn State thing, man. So, I was listening to Colby's post-week reaction show, and they were talking about, James Franklin's got to get fired. James Franklin's got to get fired. And I messaged him. I said, man, I think you got it all wrong. Chris and I over on our podcast have been talking about how we thought that last year we thought that the hiring was weird. We both said Jim Knowles is a good defensive coordinator. We both liked Jim Knowles when as it went on, right? I hated the hire. Right. And I think it took him because I didn't like what he was trying to do. But they won a national championship with them. It is what it is. Yeah. But we both know that there was some turmoil there because he likes to do things his way. It is a little gimmicky. He tries to coach like he's at Oklahoma State, like he's got these 3-star athletes. So when they lost Tom Allen, who is one of the best defensive coordinators in college football, former head coach in Indiana, last time they were good before Cignetti, who went to Clemson, and then they hired Jim Knowles. We said, man, that's a weird hire, because Jim Knowles has gone on record saying pretty much everywhere he's been, his defense takes time to acclimate, because he doesn't just take, he's used to having tweeners, right? That's the reason why Jack Sawyer's career kind of stuttered, right? Is because Jim Knowles didn't know what to do with them. So we're seeing that at Penn State. I mean, that Neuheisel, who's been an offensive coordinator for 2 days, carved him up for over 400 yards and 40 points. It's just, and I think that by the end of the season, he's going to figure it out. He's going to get it together. There's a lot of talent on that Penn State defense. It's just that's part of the deal. That's part of the deal with what he brings to the table. It takes time. I think they'll figure it out. I don't think it's fair to say that James Franklin needs to be fired. It was just a weird hire. And we're seeing it. We are seeing it. So yeah, I
argue
think that Matt Patricia's doing a better job.
I won't argue that. Will chimes in. Brock Purdy is game manager. Sayan is an analyzer. And he's, he's a freshman, and we hope to see him analyze what's out there on the defense more and more as he continues to grow. You brought up the defense. I think that the biggest thing about the defense is you were looking for something here or there. I think the biggest thing was that nobody stood out on the defense, and that's a compliment. That was a compliment. I think it was a compliment to a good team defense that Ohio State's rolling out there week in and week out. Honestly, all three sides of the ball this last week showed us something. Even special teams. Who knew we had a little throwback wrinkle in the special teams department? That was fun to watch. I thought that was fun. And you know what? I think even the biggest thing is, a 42-3 victory. You see great stuff out of the offense. You see a stellar defense. You see some trickery and some things work in the special teams. Ryan Day still didn't seem happy. He still didn't seem satisfied in that on-field interview afterwards. And maybe that's that gear that's flipped in Ryan Day. He's won it. He's that CEO now. He knows what it takes to do this, and he knows where his team needs to be. But honestly, with all that said, first half of the game, impressive first drive by Minnesota. They went 13 plays, 66 yards, and they ended it on a field goal. That's a win for Minnesota team. 13 plays, 66 yards. Got points out of it. It's a win. Out of those 66 yards, the rest of the night, the rest of the 3.5 quarters. They only amassed 96 yards the rest of the game. So that's a big dub. Bo Jackson started, obviously we saw him last week solidify that number 1 running back role. He looked good. He looked strong. He hit the hole hard. Had only maybe 1 or 2 where he was able to kind of break to that second level, but he's young. He's going to start picking that up. That first drive for the Buckeyes, Julian Sayin missing Carnell Tate on that little crosser. Kind of throws it behind him, doesn't lead him any. Carnell Tate trips, stumbles, bumbles. It's just something he's got to work on. All that, that's going to happen. I'm all for confidence building, but I thought, maybe this is a time where you look at your team when that drive stalls and Ryan Day says, hey, it's 4th and 5. We're going to go for it because you're just the better team. I got no problem building confidence. He wheels out fielding for the field goal kick, which probably, I think it was his career high or matched his career high, and he kind of hooked it. But hey, I'm willing for you to go ahead and miss these ones when the game's not on the line now and get it out of your system. Shake it off, keep going. Rest of that first half, honestly, hey, Jeremiah Smith, he could lead the country in receiving on just running curl routes, and that's something that, you got a defender that's, gives him so much cushion and so much respect because he's Jeremiah Smith. He could lead the country on just hooks and curls. I really think that's a possibility. James People alert. James People, his first half carries up 100% from last week. He did carry the ball once in that first half. Okay, but he finished strong. We'll get to that here in the second half. Max Clare is starting to remind us of the Max Clare that he was at Penn State. Obviously there's only one football on the offensive side, and you've got all these weapons. But Max Clare looked good. Max Clare looked athletic. Max Clare looked like he was advertised when we got the big news, the holy shit, the boom that Max Clare was coming over to Ohio State. Great 4th down stop by the Buckeyes with 8 minutes left in the second quarter. That was awesome. A 4th and 3 stop, or a 4th and 1 stop as it was. That stop feeds, Coach Hartline. He gives you the fake dive, the fake end around play action pass deep to Carnell Tate, which was absolutely beautiful. I don't think later in the season Julian Saint's going to have that much time back there in the pocket to get off 2 fakes and heave it 50 yards down the field, but it sure as shit looked pretty. Yeah. And then after that drive, we had 4th and 1, quarterback sneak. Julian Saint goes up underneath center. He gets it. Buckeyes call a timeout before they bring in Lincoln Keenholz. They try to do a quarterback design around the end there. He kind of trips over his own feet. Ryan Day's all kinds of pissed. He goes into the sideline reporter, lets her know how pissed he was about that. I was really hoping to see Lincoln Keenholz shine there. Will jumps in. Where is Enos? He was not open, or just not getting a look. It's the 3-headed monster, really. Will, I mean, you got arguably the 2 great, the best wide receiver duo in the country. You've got Jeremiah Smith, you got Carnell Tate, but guess what? We're starting to unpeel the wrapper on Max Clare too, and now the middle of the field is getting open. Now these checkdowns are looking a lot more delicious, if you would. But let's be real, he's going to get his play. He's going to get his receptions as they go on. Hey, is he?
I think it is notable because he hasn't done shit all year. I like that.
That's why I keep had a beautiful pass across the field on that punt return, huh?
That's right. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, he doesn't
slung the bitch, right?
Yeah, he did.
Second half. Bo Jackson, that touchdown in the short yardage situation, that was nice to see because as you've watched the Buckeyes over these first 5 weeks, you see short yardage situations. You know that C.J. Donaldson's coming in. I'm a big C.J. Donaldson fan as well as you, but it's good to see that these Buckeyes are starting to develop, saying, hey, it doesn't matter. We don't have a back like this or a back like that. We need to get these backs, ready and situated for any situation that might arise. We don't need to do the personnel change. Good to see him get in there. Next drive, Buckeye drive. Quick, easy slant for Jeremiah Smith. If you're playing him outside, he's going to slant on the inside too easy. Credit where credit is due. Minnesota, their second running back, Iju Boy. In the second half, he looked good. He got strong in the second half, and he had a couple nice runs and a couple arm tackles broken. I thought he looked really good. Impressive drive that led to what looked like a Minnesota chip shot field goal that they absolutely hooked. It looked like it was right down the pipe. After that, the Buckeyes sub in the number 2s with about 9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. You see Keenholz has a nice hookup, a nice little hook route, a nice dart to Quincy Porter. Nice to see Quincy Porter get involved. Like to see Lincoln Keyhole sling the ball a little bit. Peoples shined in that drive. He carried the ball about 4 or 5 times, looked really, really good. Had a nice gainer for about 25 plus yards running down the sideline. And then you had a quarterback draw with Keenholz, a little bit of redemption. That gets called back. Very next play, they give Keenholz the sneak, and that caps off the 42-3 victory for the Buckeyes. I'm pleased. I think, like I said, all 3 sides of the ball, that's something that we can actually talk about because the special teams made a play, made us say, oh, wow, they do have something, cooked up. Why not? And like I said, to see Coach Day know what it takes to win a national championship, because he does from last year, but not being satisfied, maybe flipping that switch, and not letting these boys hear all this outside noise of how great they really are. So I'm all for it, and put the Buckeye hype train into 4th gear, my friend.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because I don't really know if anybody else is. I know Ohio State's ranked number 1, so they are. But you listen to the same podcasts I do, and you're out there and on social media, and you see that people are kind of like they're sleeping on a little bit. Miami's the sexy team, right? Yeah. Miami's the sexy team. That's the team everybody thinks is going to do at Ohio State, and there is some validity to that, because Ohio State's biggest win was Texas, and Texas blows. Their second biggest win was Washington, who was losing 20-0 to Maryland, right? So it's like there is some validity to where it's like, man, is what we thought. Ohio lost to maybe the worst team in college football.
Right.
State.
I couldn't believe that.
Well, that's the MAC for you. But so there is some validity to the question marks. But yeah, man, I think they look great. But we'll get to the game picks. I think I think they look great, but it's going to be a big test. Going to be a big test in Champaign.
Okay, and that big test you were talking about, yes, is in fact in Champaign. Buckeyes going to Champaign, Illinois to face off against the Fighting Illini. That is a big noon kickoff game this Saturday. Biggest thing I've heard so far, Coach Day coming to the boys and say, hey, just throw that loss out to Indiana. They had a bad night. Don't sit here and say, hey, without question, they had a bad night. Let's be real. Anybody who was an Illinois fan had a bad night that night. Throw that game out of your mind. They just had a bad night. This team is the real deal, and they're preparing for it as such too. Will chimes in. Beck saved his career going to Miami. Beck looks good. Carson Beck looks good.
Yeah.
But big noon kickoff, Buckeyes Fighting Illini. You've got Sayin, you've got Altmaier. What are you thinking? Where's your nerves at on this one, my friend?
Dude, so the spread is 15 points, and I don't know why it's that high. You're talking about. What did I send you? What did I send you?
We were at 9.5, I believe, my friend.
Let me double check.
I believe,
because I think
you
jumped
you sent
up.
me.
Ohio
Sorry, it was 15.
Ohio State
was 15.
Oh, okay. So actually, I moved down. I'm looking at the line right now. It's 15. It's 14.5 right now. So it's gone down one. It's gone down a half. Which whatever. Who cares? 15 and 14.5. That's pretty minimal difference. But yeah, man, I don't know how. Because like I said, we talked about Ohio State's opponents, and the only one that is they haven't played anybody that's legit. We are sure that they're going to be a playoff contender, right? Illinois looks good, man. They beat the shit out of Duke, which Duke is a decent team. They got the shit kicked out of by Indiana, but Indiana snowballs. Illinois beat they beat a USC team that they were underdogs to. Illinois is tough, man. They're really fucking tough, dude. We talked about Gabe Jackus at the beginning of the year. He was a linebacker last year. He's their edge rusher this year. He's going to be a first-round pick, dude. You know what I mean? Luke Altmaier looks absolutely great. Xavier Scott, is that what his name is? The cornerback? Their shutdown corner?
Yeah.
I mean, they were getting destroyed by Indiana, so I don't think him getting knocked out of the game was the end-all, be-all, but there was definitely a difference when he did. That dude can play. He's locked down. This is going to be the toughest defense I think Ohio State is going to see. The offense is a little iffy, right? You got Fegan at running back who runs hard. I know that they are their backup running back. They got a two-headed tandem there. They got a couple of receivers that can make plays, but they're not, I don't think that we talked about Jonah Coleman's better than those guys. Denzel Boston's better than those guys. I think Luke Altmaier is a better quarterback than everybody they see. I really do. I do believe that, but I don't think he's lighting the world on fire. I'm more scared about this defense. This Illinois defense is good. I think it's legitimately good. I really do. So yeah, man, going away and you're giving me 15 points. I don't know how you don't take Illinois. I don't know how this game doesn't scare more people.
No,
It's gonna smush them.
No, I definitely hear and agree with you on certain aspects, my homie. Hold on, we got one. Day 1K, I don't think Altmaier is better than Washington or Minnesota's quarterback.
So Damon Williams, maybe not. Well, I mean, Damon Williams runs around, so it's a different type of quarterback, but he's definitely better than Drake Lindsey.
Well, I mean, that's not argued. There was a point in that Ohio State-Washington game that Damon Williams is, 17 of 18?
Yeah.
He was facilitating. And like you said, Altmaier, he doesn't have all the world's flashiest weapons, but Altmaier, without question, he's the one who stirs the drink for that entire offense. And it's easy to think about that like, hey, yeah, every quarterback does that. No, this quarterback really does. This quarterback is the lifeblood of this offense. If he's not going, nothing on this offense is going. But the problem is we're talking about this defense. And we're talking about this defense. Hey, you just said this might be the toughest defense they play all year. I will go down and say this. Ohio State could go on and, not win another game until, the end of November. I think this defense here is the one defense that gives them something that the Wolverines are going to show them in that last weekend of November. They're tough. They are athletic. They're going to come at you like their hair's on fire. They like to hit. They've got corners that thrive and, are chopping at the bit to play man against any and all comers. And Xavier Scott is one of those guys. He is a dog. Gabe Jackas, like you said, without question, he's going to be a first-round pick.
He's a first-round pick, yeah, man.
He is an absolute stud, and he's doing it at Illinois. Okay, I mean it's like he's Illinois' the best defender Illinois since probably what? Let's go, Simeon Rice.
Oh my God! Well, I don't know if he's anything. Maybe you can make an argument. Yeah. Sure, you can make an argument.
I'd make that argument. I do, and believe me, if you don't think Illinois is going to come out to this game knowing last year how their season ended, how they were on the outside looking in, and they're not looking at this game saying, this is the season, boys. This is everything you seniors came back for. They're going to be up. They're going to be ready. They're going to be there to punch us right in the fucking mouth without question. I think it's going to be a good game, and everybody can complain and do their bitching about big noon kickoff, but this game, that's where the game is. Looking at the rest of the slate of the Big Ten, you were never going to get this game anything other than big noon kickoff.
Yeah.
But let's be real. This is going to be the game to watch come noon on Saturday. Will chimes in. Have you had Brent credit building the backup program?
Yeah, Brett Bielema's killed it. Brett Bielema has done a good job repairing what who was the coach there? Black guy used to coach the Bears.
Lovie Smith.
Smith. Yeah, Lovie Smith. I actually like Lovie Smith, but it is what it is. He didn't do very well there. So and to go back to day 1K's comment about Luke Altmaier, maybe you're right. Maybe I'm being too harsh, but the difference is, even if Luke Altmaier's not as physically gifted as those two guys, he's been in college for 35 years. Right. So maybe you're right. Maybe if you're looking at it from a scouting standpoint or a physical standpoint, it's not definitive. It's not completely subjective who is better than who. I want to make sure because I'm not, by no means am I saying Luke Altmaier is what we thought Arch Manning was going to be. Because that makes sense. So and maybe the difference is that these maybe we are looking at the Illinois weapons. Maybe we're not giving them enough credit. Back in the day, you're looking at Josh Imatorbhebhe. He was the number one weapon for 3 years. at Illinois,
Right.
and that kid never even made an NFL roster.
Day one jumps back in. He's agreeing with you. Hey, Altmaier is a gamer. He's cut from that Stetson Bennett cloth. That's a good pull.
There you go.
That's a great pull.
We
great
can,
pull there.
Again, that was another guy who was in college for 85 years. So so that's fair. And they have Hudson Clement, who is a transfer from West Virginia, leading receiver at West Virginia, is doing very well. Malik Elzy, he gets open. He is talented. Colin Dixon is talented. They got 2 tight ends that are very, very good. Tanner Arkin and the transfers from Stoffel. So maybe that is it. Maybe I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not Altmaier. Maybe it's that they don't have like a Jeremiah Smith, but they have a bunch of guys that are really, really good that they have.
Right.
Illinois is just not used to having. So maybe that is it. I can give credit to that. Either way, the offense is scarier than Illinois teams in the past.
Agreed. Yeah.
And the defense is great. This is probably the best. This is one of the better defenses in the country.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen an Illinois team this good. I mean, you talk about Juice Williams, bro? Like
Juice Williams and Rashad Mendenhall, yeah.
Oh, and God, it was the wide receiver that got drafted in the first round and didn't do shit.
No, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
God damn it!
Yeah,
I think Hubbell drafted him. Not whatever. We'll Google it later. Trivia.
Well, so this game started at 15. It's dropped down to 14.5. You say the Buckeyes going on the road. You'd be willing to take Illinois with that line. How do you see this game? How do you see this game panning out?
Yeah. I think Ohio State can win, but I could see them slipping up here. I could see that.
We've called it all year, yeah.
Yeah,
we've called it all year, and if we're playing the same mindset that Coach Day is, preaching to his guys, forget about that game. Forget about the game. I mean, absolutely.
We don't know if any of the nobody Ohio State has played has been good. Like it's crazy. Like nothing is.
I won't argue it. I won't argue it.
It's kind of weird. Like you look at the schedule and you go, I'm watching. I bet money on Washington giving the 6.5 to Maryland. Maryland blows. Maryland is not good. We know Maryland's undefeated right now. We know they're not going to end the season good. We know that they're going to maybe they'll be going to be very lucky to be bowl eligible as they always are. Right? They might not win another game all year. They're Maryland. And I'm looking at Washington's schedule. I'm looking at Washington's schedule, being like, well, what's going on here? Right? They ended up winning, right? But they were down by 20 points with 3 minutes left in the third quarter.
Yeah.
Okay. If anybody other than Mike Loxley was coaching that Maryland team, they would have lost. And I'm looking at their schedule. I'm going, oh my God, does Washington fucking blow? Like, you know what I mean? And I look at Texas schedule. And if they're getting their ass kicked by Florida, and I'm going, oh my God, does Texas fucking blow? Like, and then Ohio loses to Ball State. So I don't know. I just don't know what's going on.
It seems like the Big Ten, hey, we're going straight seeding. It's the playoffs. You're good enough. You're getting in. It's like the Big Ten is, without question, they're a stellar conference, but the Big Ten this year have such high dreams or high hopes and aspirations that the hangover, the come down, it is big this year. You see it with Washington. You see it with Penn State.
Yeah. But again, you're also – I just think that when you look at Illinois' schedule and who they've played, like USC is not horrible. We know USC is not horrible.
No.
We know Duke isn't horrible, right? We know Duke, but fuck, dude, Duke might be as good as Texas. It's really weird how it's weird how the season's played out. So that's another reason why I gotta lean Illinois. I think Ohio State can win. Right. Obviously they're way more talented than Illinois, but Brett Bielema, like our boy Will said, Bielema's got it going on up there. He's got the team built to his exact specifications and to what he wants. And their front seven on their defense is nasty. It's nasty. Maybe the nastiest the Big Ten. And I don't think that Ohio State this is gonna be a real challenge for Julian Sain because he's gonna get hit.
I agree with you. Will chimes in. He's banking Buckeyes 35-13. Long time no see Aaron Parrish, 28-10 Buckeyes. Will chimes in, big A run in the house. Or he says 31-14. No, I think you're right. I could see, let's be honest, I think the Buckeyes on the road, we won't have such a small sample size, but we watch these games and we watch the first drive or two of the Buckeyes, and it takes them a minute. It does. This team, it takes them a minute to wake the fuck up, and I think if you're being slow and lackadaisical to start the game. This team's going to wake you up. They're going to wake you. This defensive front is going to wake you up, Julian's saying. It's going to wake you up. Running back not hitting the hole, not missing a block here and there. Missing a block here and there in this game might be crucial.
This would not surprise me. One more thing about this Illinois passing attack, too, before I forget. Yeah. You remember the Jared Abadiris game?
Yes.
When he fucking torched Bradley Roby?
Yeah.
That's the kind of shit I would expect from Illinois, right? Who was the quarterback that year for Wisconsin?
A nobody. I remember where I was, and I remember the TV I broke that year.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it was a nobody. I think it was I was gonna say I was gonna ramble because I thought it might have been somebody that was there for 7 years, but I think you're right. I think it was like a freshman who got hurt and we never heard from him again.
Yes, because we remember the opening kickoff got taken back, and then the whole nation learned about J.J. Watt that game, and it was just a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. Aaron jumps in. On a side note, Will and I always bet on each other with a bottle of Coke on the bets, and I'm like 20 bottles on Will. You got to watch drinking all that Coke, man. Oh. Is that what we're calling it now? It comes in bottles? Okay. Not even close. Will jumps in. No, like I said, I could see the Buckeyes pulling away from this one. I think this one, I'm going to chalk this one up to what we do with some of these Buckeye games. This isn't a game. This isn't Ohio State and Ohio. This isn't Ohio State and Grambling. Hey, they can't run with these dogs for 4 quarters. It's just a game of attrition. Eventually, we're going to break your will. I could see this game being close. I could see this game being very close until quarter number 4 comes up. And if you were to tell me it's still a game, if it's a 1-possession game or it's simply a 10-point game into the 4th quarter, I'd believe you.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have any problem with that 1 iota.
15 points. What are you doing?
Well, first off, Aaron says booger sugar laughed my ass off. Will chimes back, tariffs are too high for that now. Izzy says 31-13 bucks.
I don't think the tariffs are affecting illegal drugs.
Give it time.
The cartel's
Just give it time. No, listen, I'm gonna just to be contrarian to you. I'm gonna take the Bucks. I'm gonna take the Bucks by 17 on this one. I'm gonna say they're gonna cover. I'm gonna take them 17. I'm not gonna take them much more than that. Don't get me wrong, because I think this offense finds a way to score, or maybe our offense coughs up a ball on, enemy side of field here. Illinois gets a quick, easy one. I think if I were to say anything, I wouldn't be surprised if Illinois is the first team to get into double digits, get past that 9 threshold by Ohio.
And you're saying you would take Ohio State up to 17?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think you're going to have to worry about it, too, because it looks like the line's moving down. I don't know if it's going to hit 14. It feels like it might stay right there at 14.5.
Right.
But, yeah, so, there you go.
Will chimes in a way I think we need a close game with saying having to take control. No, hey, we like to see it. Let's get it out now. Let's be real. I mean, sure. Don't get me wrong. I'd like to see Ohio State win by 50 points. But at the same time, look at the college landscape. If you're going to lose, you're going to lose early. We're starting to get into
that's fact.
We're starting to get into we're at the halfway point of the season now. You know what I'm saying? And, let's not give anyone a reason to have. I mean, let's be real. We lose one game. Hey, we're in the playoffs. No question about that. We're probably still sniffing at the Big Ten championship. But no, I like the Bucks in this one. I like to see a lot of things in this game. I have no idea what we're going to see, so we're going to have to watch the game on this. Any closing notes on Ohio State, Illinois, 12 o'clock noon Big Ten kickoff, my friend?
No, but I do think I'm going to bet on this. I haven't yet, but I do. I really do. I hate betting against Ohio State, but dude, that's a lot of fucking points, bro.
Is this the first time you're betting on Ohio State this year?
Betting against Ohio State?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I haven't done it yet, but it's like that's just a lot of points. Illinois is tough. Tough.
Okay. Well, that will be one of the 2 biggest games in the Big Ten Week 7 slate. But we have a Big Ten Week 7 game that's on Friday night. Bottom line there, Rutgers at Washington, 9 p.m. Eastern on Fox Sports 1. the Huskies a 9.5-point favorite. What do we think about this one, my friend?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this one on replay because the lady and I are gonna go see The Shining Friday night. So
Really?
Dude.
Like old school theater kind of deal?
Yeah, man, love it, dude.
Oh,
I
cool.
love it. Gonna get real nice.
Oh,
Real
dude,
nice.
I have an Xbox gamer tag I've used for the last like 2 decades, all because of Scatman Crothers. Love The Shining. Love The Shining.
Wait,
But
what is gamer? What's
it's like
your game?
it's like Scatman, like my high school football number.
I love that, dude.
Yeah.
I love that.
Rutgers at Washington, 9 p.m. Eastern, 9, 8, 7. That's a 6 p.m. game for me. That's nice. Ooh.
Yeah, man. Rutgers is coming off the bye. They lost to Minnesota the week before, but they looked tough doing it. We talked about that game. We watched that game.
Yeah.
That was another weekday game. And Washington struggled their dick off against. But I don't want to go into it again because I rambled on about it for too long. Washington might not be good, brother. So you're going to give me 9.5 points in a bye week. I know that we're seeing a huge trend here with teams going east to west. I heard someone saying this is why the Big Ten conference blows, because you get teams that suck beating teams that are good just because they travel for so long. I think it's cool. I think it's fun. And sometimes it doesn't happen that way. The line has actually moved. We talked about it yesterday. It was 9.5. It's moved all the way to 10.5. That's a big deal, right? Because that 10 is a key number. That's a touchdown, a field goal. So I don't know why it's moving up. People are betting on Washington apparently, but I like Rutgers here. I love Rutgers here. I think they might win outright.
Okay. Will Jimson, guys, need you to pull all your inside scoop and find out what Patricia's goal is. Does he want to go back to the NFL, head coach, stay with the team? I'm not trying to get too off track, Will, but let's be real. Ohio State has now become that mid-2000s hotbed like Alabama was. You want to get your foot back into the door. You want to get your foot back and get your name in certain offices talking about new potential defensive coordinators, offensive coordinators, what have you. Ohio State has shaped themselves into that program. And, hey, I'm not upset if Matt Patricia can have a defense all year, keep every damn team under 10 points on the scoreboard and win a national championship. Thank you for your service, my friend. I love you forever.
Yeah, I don't think he wants to leave. I mean, obviously he doesn't want to stay in Ohio State. He just simply doesn't. But I don't think he's in a rush to leave. I think that he's not an idiot. He hears I think Izzy's onto something there. That's probably he's not. Matt Patricia's not an idiot. The dude builds rockets, right? Chip Kelly had such a large hubris that you could be like that in his face, and he'd be like, "Thanks for being a fan." You know what I mean? Like he just did. He was really unaware. Matt Patricia, everything I know about Matt Patricia indicates that he's not like that. So I think that he's kind of here to chill. I don't think he wants to stay here. This is not where he's going to retire, but I think he's pretty satisfied being here for, as he said, 2 or 3 years.
Yeah, I can see that. As for Rutgers at Washington, we sit here, we talk about, hey, maybe the Big Ten sucks. They got to do all this travel, this and third. This has got to be I think in the schedule all season, this is the longest travel for any Big Ten team this season. Rutgers going all the way to Washington. And not only that, you get this game on a Friday, you get it on a short week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna if this line is moved to, you said 10.5, I think I'm still comfortable with that. I think I'll take Washington outright on this one.
Well, the short week could actually affect Washington because Rutgers is off of a bye. But I still see your point. They're at home. But yeah, even at 10.5. Yeah, man, I'm sure a lot of people are going to be with. It'll be interesting to follow that number because it looks like more people are agreeing with you on both of the games so far with the way that the spreads have turned out. So we'll see.
No, I'm with it. The next game we've got Saturday at 12 p.m. on the Big Ten Network. We've got UCLA at Michigan State. UCLA coming off of a huge victory, a huge victory for this program in the state in which this program was in. They go to East Lansing. They take on the Michigan State Spartans. Michigan State Spartans, as of Sunday, they were an 8.5-point favorite. Who you taking?
So I don't. Again, I'm not victory lapping because we both were on here, and we said, oh, we did the UC. We do our picks every week. UCLA and Penn State. UCLA. We both said Penn State, but we both said, man, Penn State. Donovan and I ranted about it for 15 minutes. Penn State has not had one fucking game where they've looked good, other than against Villanova.
No,
not one game. right? And we talked about UCLA has a pulse. Tim Skipper, I don't think he's a horrible coach. I think he was the coach at Fresno State a couple of years ago when they were not good, but they weren't atrocious. No. And they fought hard against a Northwestern team that I don't think is horrible.
They were milling around for a bit, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you got a Michigan State team who also is pretty tough. They're losing some heartbreaking games.
Yeah.
They lost to Nebraska, but I don't think that the score was indicative of how close it was. If I remember right, Nebraska kicked like an onside kick when they were up by a touchdown already, and then they score whatever. So, but Michigan State's been tough. We've talked about them all year long. They hung with you. They've been hanging around. But now you're in a position where you are better than the other team. I'm going to take Michigan State. I am going to take Michigan State, but I do think that, I'll take Michigan State. I feel pretty good about it. I feel like they're better.
So I'm gonna ride this high for a bit. I'm going to take Michigan State to win this ball game. At the same time, I think Michigan State wins this a close one. I think UCLA kind of had that coming to Jesus moment. And they're like, we could win games and have fun, and they're just like, oh, like they like raptured in a sense. I think they've got, you see New Heisel's boy who looked like he's straight from the OC. And you still figuring out how to use a headset and all this, that, and the third. I think it's fun, and I think that they have unlocked something. Not necessarily a great thing. It's just like there were probably points on there. They're like, "Fuck it, we ball," and they just go out there and do whatever the hell they did, and it looked good.
And we saw Nico played good.
Nico played good, and I think that was a little bit of more of listening and saying, hey, what are you seeing out there? How are you feeling about this? It was a little bit of back and forth. You can see that on the sidelines as well. So I'm gonna take Michigan in this one, but I can take Michigan State. I'm saying if they're winning outright, but I'm always seeing like a one score game. I'm not saying anything more than 7. So I guess UCLA, my friend.
Should take UCLA. Okay, wow, we've disagreed a lot here. That line actually has stayed strong. So that might be People are probably pretty split on this. You got that. That was the best field storm I've ever seen, too. UCLA, 16 people that were in the stands.
Dude,
Jesus Christ! What a pathetic program. What a pathetic program.
We already talked Buckeye, Illinois. That's also a 12 noon kickoff game as well. 3:30 on CBS. Indiana and Coach Signetti traveled to Eugene, Oregon. Take on the Oregon Ducks. That is 3:30 p.m. That is on CBS at time of making this graphic here, or this scrolly little bar. Oregon was favored 9.5 points. Where are we at now?
Yeah, so it's gone down to 7.5.
No shit.
It's gone down to 7.5. Super interesting. Okay. I don't really know. I think it must be because Indiana's on a bye, and everybody's thinking, oh, man, Signetti's a psycho. He's a mastermind. He's going to get it going. Technically both teams are off of a bye, but I think that Signetti's – I don't know. That's the only justification I have. I'm going to Oregon here. I think Oregon has looked great. Indiana struggled against Iowa. I do think that Indiana is still – there still are some traces of Indiana being Indiana football. Oregon is just forced 5 stars across the board. Dante Moore's played fantastic. They looked good against Penn State, beating them in overtime. I like Oregon here. I liked Oregon here at the 9.5. I love it at the 7.5. This might be a game that I actually bet on. The only justification I have for the line going down is people think that Signetti is just a better coach, which might be the case.
Hey, that might be the case. And this one I'm going to be in full agreement with you. You're right. Absolutely 4 or 5 stars across the board. You're going to put Indiana's going to have D'Angelo Pons on stud freshman receiver. What's his name, Josh, for me?
DeCorian
Moore. But you got so many other weapons as well. We saw that you and I have been talking about it in quiet for so long. This whole these first 5 weeks, you see Mekhi Hughes has taken his red shirt as well. He hasn't touched the ball all season. Biggest X factor in this game is receivers 2 and 3 and that tight end Sadiq.
Yes,
tight end. Sadiq is he's given me those flashes of Harold Fanning, Bowling Green. Shout out Pudge. Damn good tight end. He can block, he can catch, he can do it all, and give credit where credit is due. You can't pick who you play or anything like that. But Dante Moore looks like he's been there before, and that speaks something, especially when you're coming in and starting your first season. If this is moved down to 7, I'm taking Oregon. I can see Oregon by 2 scores, my friend.
Yeah, me too, man. We talked about this is Dante Moore's 3rd year. He started as a freshman at UCLA. Took was redshirt last year or whatever the case was. I don't know. We just said
right.
But we talked about when we did our Oregon preview. We were both like, we were kind of unsure about what to do with Oregon. I can't remember what we said. I think you took the over. I took the under. I can't remember. But we both talked about how the Dante Moore Heisman thing.
Right.
The Dante Moore Heisman bet might be a good bet because we both talked about how if they're good, he's going to light it up, and that's kind of exactly what's happening. Obviously, he hasn't won the Heisman yet, but
right,
especially with John Mateer being hurt, I wish I would have put some more money on that bet, but that's life.
That's life. That's what all the people say, my friend. Right at the same slot, 3:30, we've got Northwestern traveling to Happy Valley to take on a wounded, hurt, depleted, jet lag, anything else James Franklin might have said in that post-game presser. Northwestern at Penn State. It is at 3:30 p.m. on Fox Sports 1. Penn State, as of Sunday, a 22.5 point favorite. They got to get it right, yeah? There's no way they lose 3 games.
Dude, I'm not fucking touching this. That's a lot. Northwestern, the spread's actually gone down. It's down at 21.5. That doesn't matter. That's not key numbers. No. Right? It is interesting to note. Maybe the number keeps going down. I don't think it will. But Northwestern has a pulse. Northwestern has a pulse. They beat the shit out of the UL Monroe team. That's not horrible. And they beat UCLA the week before. Penn State just looks like shit, man. Penn State's going to win the game. I'll take Penn State. I'll take Penn State, but I'm not putting my real money on this. I'm not putting my real money on this.
I'll give credit where credit's due. You give it to. You could maybe chalk it up to Oregon playing with their food, but they were playing physical with Oregon the first half of that football game a couple weeks ago.
I know. I don't think that they're bad.
No, it's win or you're going to the Bad Boy Mower Gasparilla Bowl, man. The rest of the season, it is. I'm gonna take Penn State in this one. I'm gonna take Penn State 22.5. Sure, I hate big spreads with Penn State because it's just a waste of my fucking time. Have you guys heard anything about Penn State social media? How much they're going off on Franklin? I mean, that's the pulse of Penn State every year. Will it is?
Dude, but I don't get.
We don't get it. Don't get us wrong. We if you don't want James Franklin, tell me who else you want.
I guess I guess that's the same argument for when we were bitching about Ryan Day. It is. So I guess there's, you don't know it until you're in it and you're seeing it and it's happening to you over and over again.
Yeah.
But they did make quite the playoff run last year too. They just feel very close. It is what it is. I would be shocked if they fired him, but I was shocked when Oklahoma State fired Mike Gundy, and I was shocked when UCLA fired Deshaun Foster.
Yeah.
The only guy that's been fired this year that I thought deservedly so was Brent Pry. So we'll see what happens.
No, I hear you. Will's got an answer for that. Will, we're waiting to hear for your choice for the next head coach of Penn State when that job is available. Penn State, like I said, I think it all really has anchored on these last couple of weeks on Drew Aller. It seems like every time there's a big game, someone has to come out of the woodwork and say, "Hey, Drew Aller's a first-round quarterback. Drew Aller's a first-round quarterback."
But
and then it becomes like Anne Heche, like I'm out, I'm in, I'm out, I'm in. You know what I'm saying? And it's too much for this kid's head. Go to Vanderbilt and get Clark. Okay, I can see that. I hate to say, but Ryan Day is in the same boat. Less than you. Yeah, absolutely. We were just talking about that. We were the same way. No question. But I'll take Penn State. I'll take the points begrudgingly, if you would. Also, 3:30 kickoff on the Big Ten Network. You've got Nebraska at Maryland. Nebraska being a 4.5 point favorite. Josh, who do you have?
So this spread has actually gone up to 6.5.
Okay.
I am shocked. Well, I guess not, because I'm taking Nebraska here begrudgingly. Probably not going to put my real money on. Nebraska has not looked impressive. Dylan Raiola has not looked impressive. Rule has really depressed me this year. They're winning games. They're not losing games, but they're like sliding by. Of course, Cincinnati might be better than we think.
Yeah.
They just the rest doesn't look good.
Cincinnati sure looked good this weekend.
Exactly. Yeah. So maybe I'm wrong, but Maryland, they must be. Maryland has to be okay. They just have to be. So I don't want to bet this, but also it's Maryland. So I'm definitely
right.
I'm taking Nebraska on this show, but my money is not going on this game, dude.
Will was not in the same boat as you and I. November of last season, he said he's still in the captain's seat.
Hey, you were right. We were wrong. That's how it goes, brother.
I applaud you, my friend, without question. No, we were putting memo pads together of coaches we wanted, this, that, and the third. Good for you for staying strong. Give me Nebraska, like you said. It's not that I'm disappointed in Matt Rule. Yeah, he's the head coach of the football team. Don't get me wrong. The defense hasn't made a big stop this year when they needed it. That's one big thing. And two, Dylan Raiola, each year, it's next now year 2 of the Dylan Raiola, and you've seen improvement, but you haven't seen the improvement where you think he should be. And that's the big hindrance for Nebraska. Because, we've got him weapons now. He's got good enough receivers. And it's just it's little things. It's holding on to the ball too long, or just a bad read here or there. It's going to take another. Yeah, he tries to do too much. You're absolutely
right.
His
FBI is so low, it's frustrating.
Yeah,
like he's.
With all that being said, though, I do like Maryland is an interesting team to watch, but at the same time, go ahead and at Nebraska going to Maryland, though. Go ahead and give me Nebraska 4.5 here.
You have to, and that's a hell of a lot better than 6.5, dude.
Will chimes in, best recruit we lost. Ooh, Come on now, Will. Iowa, 7 p.m. Fox Sports 1. Iowa going to Camp Randall Stadium to take on the Wisconsin Badgers. This is a game in which Iowa is favored by 3.5 points. Where are we at now?
Yeah, man. It's let me see here. It's still at 3.5. That makes sense. It's probably gonna stay there. So Iowa is coming off of a bye week. They obviously looked really good against Indiana. So, but Wisconsin looked tough against Michigan. Yeah, but Michigan might be bad. Michigan, we might be dealing with the Michigan's bad situation. Either way, I'm going to take Wisconsin. I might actually bet on this. You're going to give me 3.5 points. You're going to Madison. Iowa still's Iowa. They're still going to If they do win, it's going to be close. So I'll take Wisconsin.
Yeah,
I might actually win this.
I'm going to take Wisconsin to win this one outright. You're going to get Camp Randall at night. Everybody and their brother. You're hearing how terrible they are. Something's got to give. Will chimes in, meaning it was a good thing we lost Raiola. No, I got you there. I
think that Ryan Day does do a good job of. Well, yeah, maybe no, you're probably right. You're
probably right. And what my friend Josh was evaluating the want and the needs of some of these players. Like, what did Dylan Raiola want to come to Ohio State? Was it a bag of cash? Was it this? Yeah. Was it that? It's about team and winning first. And absolutely, best recruit we lost. I agree with you.
I always think too, like Ryan Day can figure it out with any. I always think that Ryan Day, when I look at Arch Manning, I think Ryan Day would have fixed Arch Manning. We would not be Arch Manning would not have the struggles on Ryan Day. But with that said, Ryan Day is not perfect with Cord. We saw. I mean, Kyle McCord was good, and he couldn't figure it out with Kyle McCord. They couldn't get on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
couldn't make it work, and Kyle McCord left. Jack Miller left. I don't think Jack Miller was good. Yeah. So I do want to throw that. Like, Kyle McCord was good. Jack Miller wasn't good. There was that other quarterback that transferred out that was pretty highly recruited at TCU. So he's not perfect. But I don't know. It is what it is.
The other big game on the slot on the Big Ten docket. This one's going to be 7:30 on NBC. We've got the Michigan Wolverines going out to Southern California to take on USC. USC is favored by 2.5 points. Are we still there now, Josh?
Yeah, man. I don't think anybody's bet on this fucking game because it's a death trap. But I mean, honestly, so USC's coming off of a bye week, right? I'm trying to double check because the last game they played was that when they lost to Illinois, right?
Yes, coming off of a loss, coming off a bye.
Yeah, and Michigan didn't look good either. They couldn't but that might be just how Michigan plays. I'm going to take Michigan. You're going to give me the points. I know they're going out to the West Coast. I think I might actually put money on this too. I think Michigan is tough enough that they're just going to punch them in the mouth. I don't think USC likes to punch in the mouth.
Honestly, Manning to Oregon next year, make it 4 quarterbacks in 4 years. I would love to see that.
Manning's going to be lucky if he can go to Tulane. Like I'm hearing rumors that Texas is done, but which I think that's premature in my opinion.
Well, I mean, let's be real. They're the same Texas that wanted Quinn Ewers out fucking 3 years too early. So,
bro,
there's no pleasing them.
Yeah.
I don't think Michigan offensively is a good team. I don't. I think that Michigan is on the defensive side of the ball. They like contact. They're a group that wants to meet you at the point and inflict that contact. We saw it, last year as well with USC just getting out physical, not wrapping up tackling. I mean, let's be real. USC could have won that game 2 or 3 times last season and put Michigan to bed. But I'm going to take the physicality in this one. You're going to get Michigan. Michigan's still ranked. They've coming off win after win. Under the lights, their brand of Big Ten football, still trying to figure out what that is on the offensive side of the ball. But I'm going to take Michigan's physicality. Give me Michigan on this one.
Yeah,
and last one, 7:30 as well. We've got Purdue traveling to Minnesota. 7:30 on the Big Ten. Minnesota is favored by 9.5 points.
Yeah, the spread's actually gone down to 7.5. Why? Okay. I don't know. I like Minnesota even at the 9.5. Right. I don't know if I'm a point. I might put my real money on this. I think Minnesota did not look good against Ohio State, but Ohio State might be the best team in the country. Minnesota had a very tough win against Rutgers the week before. Purdue got their ass slapped the last 2 weeks. I think that Barry Odom was a great hire. I think that Purdue's going to be I think Purdue's got a chance to make the playoffs in the next 3 years if he keeps going at this trajectory. I think their offense is really awesome. But they got their ass slapped by Illinois. And then the week before that, they got their ass slapped by Notre Dame. I know that Minnesota's not either one of those teams, but I think Minnesota's better than that. So I would be willing to lay the points even with 9.5.
No, I'm willing to lay the points as well. I do think Minnesota, we talk every single week. It seems like the amount of turnover at Purdue is insane, but Barry Odom is doing big, and he's doing a lot with a lot less, and it is nothing to really bat an eye at. But I'm gonna take that one. The one thing I hate about playing noon games is I don't do shit the rest of the day. I'm telling you, that's the beauty of West Coast living. I can have it. I turn my pot of coffee on and I get college football. End of the pod wrap up. We had a lot of craziness. We had a lot of upsets. We had an NFL analyst get stabbed and arrested this weekend. What do you want to touch on? I'm gonna give you 2 minutes. I'll give you 2 minutes before we close her down.
So Cody Campbell, former Texas Tech player under Mike Leach, now billionaire. He is the major funding booster for the Texas Tech program. He's the reason why Texas Tech is good right now. He is fighting legislation. I have very, very cursory. I don't know enough to talk about it longer than 2 minutes, so it works out perfectly. But I reached out to Colby. Colby's very passionate about this, so he's going to try to join the show. He was going to join the show tonight, but he's at ACC Media Days. Shout out Colby. Check out the College Football Experience podcast. But he's going to come on the show either next week or the week after to explain it to me, to explain it to us. But basically, my understanding is that Cody actually bought advertising for ABC, Fox, and NBC this weekend to talk to basically us, right, the viewers, about how we can get involved to try to overturn this legislation, and that goes into TV rights for college sports. Right. So he bought the advertising, spent the money, and last second they pulled his ads.
Oh.
So so before whenever I would hear about this, I kind of just rolled my eyes. So to me, you know me, Chris, I love a good conspiracy, right? So you're pulling ads last second. What does that mean? What's going on, right? So my understanding is that basically right now the conferences are the ones that are negotiating these deals, right? The Big Ten signs with Fox, right? The Big 12 signs with Fox, SEC, ACC, or SEC, ACC, or with the ABC, ESPN. He wants it to make it where the college sports is like the NFL, where it's a whole package. They sell it to somebody.
Right.
They distribute it as they see fit. And then there's got to basically more like equal distribution. But I don't know if I have all those facts correct, because if you're an Ohio State fan or a Michigan fan or a Texas fan, why the fuck would you want that?
Valid point.
Because that's, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, it makes sense why he would want it, because he's a fucking Texas Tech fan and they play in the Big 12. They're never going to make as much money as the Big 10 ever. Right.
Agreed.
But if you're a fan of the Big 10 or the SEC, why the fuck would you? Does that make sense what I'm saying? I guess that's
it does.
They're but maybe there's obviously something that I'm not understanding.
Right.
That hopefully that Colby can clear up. But have you heard about this?
I haven't heard anything of this. No, I haven't, my friend.
Okay. All right. Well, definitely keep your eyes open for that. And yeah, man, it's just weird. Like I said, I'm not educated enough to talk about it. That's just my general thought, where it's like, well, that doesn't sound like it benefits me, but you know, because I'm an Ohio State fan. Fuck parody, right? Like, let's be real. Like, I'm all for like getting rid of bias in scheduling. I've talked about that a million times. Get rid of this bias in polls. I'm all for getting rid of bias, but as far as like taking the money that Ohio State's earned, nah, bro. Listen, dude, I'm a capitalist, bro. Fuck off. Like,
I hear you there. No, I think we had a weekend in which you saw Texas just look bad. We had a weekend where you saw UCLA resurrected, from 6 feet under. We saw, prayers for Mark Sanchez, and oh, hey, by the way, Mark Sanchez is now arrested, and a $300 bail. Insanity. We saw it's going to happen in the Super Conference, AFC, NFC. Oof.
And that's possible. That's possible. Anything is possible. I just, this thing. I think that this Cody Campbell thing is going to spiral into major news. I think something is going to happen, whether it be good or bad. And I want to be more educated on it before I have a staunch opinion on it.
Really arrested. Didn't hear that. Will, I'll give you 30 seconds on this one, because it's got no affiliation with anything Mark Sanchez does. More embarrassing than the butt fumble. Mark Sanchez is from what I've gathered, is drunk or inebriated at a hotel. He's
a big guy, by the way.
He's a big dude. Yes, he is a big dude. Yeah, there is a man in a truck and when I say truck, you think truck, a single occupant vehicle. No, he is actually in a food delivery truck. He's backed up to the loading dock, and drunk Mark Sanchez at the time says, "I know the owner, get the fuck out of here," blah, 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 blah. They get into something like that. You can't park here. He tries to climb up into this man's food delivery truck.
Allegedly.
They get into they get into an alleged scuffle in which Mark Sanchez is pepper sprayed. Nothing stopping Mark Sanchez when he's pissed, and he tries to get back in, and they get into a physical altercation. He pulls the man out of the truck allegedly and throws him against the wall, throws him on the ground, in which this man pulled a knife and stabbed him twice in the chest. Mark Sanchez wake up Sunday morning to thoughts and prayers for Mark Sanchez.
He's not dead. If he were dead, it wouldn't be funny.
No, it's not. This man is without question injured. Mark Sanchez was stabbed 3 times, and he is in stable condition now, but he is in fact arrested. Yeah. He was arrested for a plethora of different things. But again, what I think the baffling thing for me was the $300 bail. that was quite baffling to me.
Yeah. Well, it's again, death is not funny. He's not dead. We want to be very clear. He's not dead. That's the only reason we're laughing. But Mark Sanchez is huge. Like, I saw a lot of people like immediately take the side of Mark Sanchez, and I'm thinking, dude, if Mark Sanchez comes at me and wants to initiate physical, and I have a knife in my pocket,
right?
Like, I only have so much time before I'm dead. Like, Mark Sanchez is a big fucking dude. You know what I mean? Like, you have to. For some reason, we talk about like these street fights and like shit like that. Like, no one takes into consideration the difference in size between people. He's a big fucking person.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't think, like, I'm short, but like, I don't like, there's not a lot of dudes that I'm scared of when I walk to Kroger. You know what I mean?
Right.
Mark Sanchez is a big fucking dude. That guy fucked me up. He'd probably take both of us at the same time, I think. I think he could. He'd give us a run for our money, both of us. You know,
Yeah.
at the same time.
But just the wider range of wildness on this last weekend of football. But we've got Buckeyes, Fighting Illini, the battle for the Illabuck, noon, Big Ten kickoff. It's going to be a good one. We will be back here the following Monday to talk with all of you, to Will, to Aaron, to Izzy, to Day 1K. Each and every one of y'all jumped in. We greatly appreciate you. We hope to see you guys back Monday. We will be back same time, same YouTube channel. Please drop us a like, comment, subscribe. Anything and everything helps the channel. Thank you for joining us. We appreciate you guys. Last one. Any word on Kirk Barson? Not sure if you discussed before.
Dude, I don't see. Now that's the one that's not funny.
Yeah, that one's.
No, man. I think he's gonna go to jail for a while, brother.
Yeah. No, I am in the same boat with you there. Will, thanks, guys. Thank you, Will. We'll see you guys next week. And, of course, as always, go Bucks.
Go Bucks.